Hey everybody, it's Matt from the Port Orchard Chamber of Commerce, and I'd like to welcome you to the Chamber's 2020 primary candidate interviews. For these interviews, we've selected three different races, the two races in the 26th Legislative District and District 2, the Kitsap County Commissioner's race, which encompasses South Kitsap and a little bit of Bremerton. All told, there's 12 candidates running for these positions. We reached out to each of the candidates using the email addresses that they used when they registered with the state. Those that got back to us, their interviews are included here. Encourage you all to watch them, to listen to them. Hopefully they will help you make better choices, but most importantly, to encourage you all to vote. Thanks and enjoy.
And now I'd just like to introduce Stacey. And Stacey, maybe you could give us a little background, tell us a little bit about yourself, who you are, where you came from, where you're going, what you're up to.
Yeah, thank you, Matt. Good morning, Port Orchard Chamber of Commerce and community members as well as sponsors of this event. I love the opportunity to share a little bit more about who I am and why I'm running. County Commissioner has been a professional goal of mine the past 15 years. I love Kitsap County and I believe I can shape our future. I have a passion for public service and I will bring a fresh perspective. I'm a lifelong resident of Kitsap County, celebrating my 50th birthday earlier this year, and I'm a 20-year county employee. I'm currently the Kitsap County Director of Aging and Long-Term Care, as well as the board-elected president of the Washington Association of Area Agencies on Aging. I have the privilege of serving you every day. My career with Kitsap County began as an on-call juvenile detention officer while completing my master's degree in counseling. I'm a trained and Washington State licensed mental health counselor with experience managing a variety of human service programs and services. My top priorities as commissioner include housing, COVID recovery, and opportunities for all to thrive. I am uniquely qualified to serve on the Board of County Commissioners with my expertise in social services, spirit of collaboration, COVID recovery, and experience keeping our vulnerable populations safe, as well as my forward-thinking leadership style. I'm comfortable listening and leading, having crucial conversations. I believe our local leaders should have a solid record of understanding our community's needs, solving local problems, and demonstrating leadership. I'm looking forward to answering your questions so you can learn a little bit more about me and why I'm ready for this job. Please visit my website at Smith for Kitsap, that's smithforkitsap.com, or on Facebook, elect Stacey Smith, to follow my journey as your next county commissioner. Thank you.
All right, cool. Great introduction, and you bring a lot to the table. It's interesting that you mentioned COVID-19 recovery because, really that's the top of everybody's mind right now. And most of the questions that we've got kind of focus around that because so many other things have put on the back burner and so many other things, everything else is tied to it. Our home, our homelessness and affordable housing issues are all tied to COVID-19 now. So the first question that I've got for you is, these distressing times have caused many problems across the state, across the county. How would you propose to tackle the large budget shortfall that's predicted to hit us? I know the preliminary numbers I've heard for the first couple months is that Kitsap County sales tax revenue is down anywhere from 10 to 15% for the first couple months. I don't know how it is, for the last few, but there's likely to be a budget shortfall. And so how would you tackle that?
Yeah, so COVID means let's get creative. That's how I've choose to look at this opportunity. Washington State is so progressive in so many ways, and now is time to revisit old ideas and get creative with new ones. So let's frame this issue. Washington State is in 50th place for our regressive tax structure. That means we're in last place in the country. In the 1990s, we actually had a stronger tax base than we do today, 25 years later. Counties are funded through two mechanisms: property tax and sales tax, as you mentioned. The property tax is limited to 1% increase each year. That's the initiative voted by the people of Washington State. And our retail shops have closed. So this deficit in the sales tax has brought Washington to a breaking point. A few of my ideas include advocating for federal stimulus dollars. The Family First dollars brought the unemployment insurance ability to Washington State. Our CARES dollars brought some support to our state. However, they're due to expire October 31st of 2020. We need additional stimulus dollars. We know that today, whether that's the HEROES Act or it's a fourth phase of the CARES dollars. So number one is really advocating for federal relief. I would also look at FEMA dollars. We need to be reimbursed because unfortunately FEMA is a first come, first serve. So not everybody's going to win when they submit to FEMA, but I think Washington State should be very progressive in that regard. We also need to use our $1 billion of reserves as a state. We had our elected officials set aside $1 billion just earlier this year. Now's the time to tap that reserve to get us through this year. I would also review discretionary spending. So stop new programs, freeze hiring on those non-essential vacant positions, right? And there's also opportunities where we haven't spent money. So you look at community events that haven't happened this year. So courts aren't open. So you can look at reallocating some of those cost savings because people weren't able to work into what we need to carry us forward. I would also revisit some old strategies. So our governor has put forward a capital gains tax. So I think there might be an opportunity to look at that and make it better for Washington State. So this excludes any kind of profit from your primary residence. Timber, agriculture, there's sectors it doesn't touch, but it does touch investment dollars over, let's say, $100,000 profit. Could the state look at that as a potential new revenue source? Let's take it to the people. Let's ask the people of Washington State. I'd also revisit B&O tax structure with fresh eyes and a perspective to the local businesses through that COVID lens, right? Look at the sectors that are struggling. Use our unemployment claims to tell us who's not open. So we're talking about retail, food service, construction. All of these have increased just this last week in unemployment claims. So we need to support those small businesses. Let me be very clear. I would not support income tax, and I would look to the chamber to help me connect with local business about their ideas. Thank you.
Thank you. So I'm going to kind of jump out of order on the questions because, you know, the COVID issue is huge, and you touched on many different aspects of it here. But, you know, what role should the government play in economic recovery after COVID-19? And I don't know, you mentioned some of it kind of before, but maybe you can kind of reiterate some of those.
Sure. So I'd like to talk about our local government because that's the job I'm asking for. So in Kitsap County, I look to the mission statement. That mission statement is that local government exists to protect and promote the safety, health, and welfare of our citizens in an efficient, accessible, and effective manner. To me, that means county government should be leveraging resources from shared jurisdictions, right? So we should be looking at our cities, our ports, our tribes, and maximizing our collective ability to solve problems, to ensure the safety and the COVID recovery, that economic recovery regarding our community's health, our economic stability, as well as our small business recovery. Because at the end of the day, we're still going to have the same problems as you mentioned. We're still going to have housing shortages. We're still going to have traffic congestion. We still need to protect our environment. This is a special place where we live. I see a lot of studying and not a lot of action right now in county government. Our local leaders should be held accountable for their actions and their inactions. The secret sauce to solving problems is funding, the political will, and public will. Right? You put those three together, we can solve problems. We need political leadership and public saying this is what we need, this is what we want. I'm a solution-focused leader.
All right, thank you. So the next question is, and again, you kind of touched on these, but you know, controlling the expenses, and you talked about, you know, taking a look and reallocating things, but you know, what do you feel is the best way to control expenses at the county level? And do we really need more taxes?
Yes, good question. So I manage budgets at the Division of Aging and Long-Term Care, $5.5 million budget right now. I've had a 25% revenue increase in the last 12 months. I know how to generate revenue. I know how to control expenses and costs. So the best way to look at budgets and controlling our expenses is to review those budgets accurately and with timely information. Currently, revenue is calculated 45 days after the close of a business, always a couple months behind. So we need to really look at what our data is telling us about our local county, our local community's recovery. We need to pause our discretionary funding. Right now is not the time to be spending dollars unless it's essential dollars. So we're going to have to freeze travel, freeze hires for non-essential workers, offer incentives for early retirements. So when I have individuals retire, they're usually at the top of their pay scale, and you bring in a new employee. For me at the Division of Aging, I had a 20% shift of savings just from that early retirement when I brought on that new staff member. I would ask for people who are interested in a voluntary separation. Are people looking to relocate to be closer to family in other places, or a reduction in their work hours? So let's ask those people that are interested. And then let's really frame this issue. So we're talking about controlling the general fund for county government. That's about $1.10 million annually. It's generated through that property tax and the sales tax. And because of that restriction of the annual growth assessment to your property tax, again, we're looking, and all counties across the state of Washington are looking to the sales tax relief. So with retail closing, I would ask the people if they're in support of a different tax to raise revenue, as I stated earlier, or restructure how counties are allocated funding by the state government. Currently, Kitsap County collects all property tax, but only 9% stays and is allocated to Kitsap County government. The other 90% of your property tax dollars goes to the state to run the state government. It goes to our schools, our libraries, our fire districts, our public utilities, our ports, and the cities. So there's not a lot. You have 10% to work with. Last year, King County stopped paving some of their roads because they are in such a deficit. Last year, Whitman County, the middle of eastern Washington, put a levy to their people, and it was passed to raise more money for their general fund. These are the canaries in the coal mine. This is what's coming to counties. Our budgets need to mimic our values. I would ask the people of Washington or Kitsap County and put it to a vote. Do we need additional taxes to raise revenue? Can we advocate for a county restructure of already existing funds?
All right, that was a nice in-depth response, and it gives everybody something to think about. Because there are other options, and it's great to hear all the different perspectives. While this is a county position, this is a question that we ask all the candidates because obviously it's the question that's nearest and dearest to the Kitsap County businesses. But how do you feel you can best support small businesses in Kitsap County, and specifically South Kitsap?
Sure. So I have two answers to this. There's the COVID in the COVID days, and there's the non-COVID days. So I'm going to start with the COVID days. So in the time that we are living today, as county commissioner, I would allocate federal stimulus care dollars to funding and supporting small business, set aside personal protective equipment, allocate rental mortgage support and payroll support to small business, as well as create a toolkit for small businesses to survive in these unprecedented times. The good news here is that it's all been done. The unfortunate news with this one is, do you know about it, small business? I think the county could do a better job in communication, making sure that our small businesses know that these resources are available. No, and being more timely, like we needed this to come to our community 2 months ago, right? That mortgage support just rolled out last week. So I would say our county needs to do a better job creating quicker, more timely, and low barrier applications to these resources available in COVID times to support small business. Now, in non-COVID times, as a county commissioner, I would recognize that small business is the backbone of Kitsap County. I would review the B&O tax structure with fresh eyes. I know that different sectors pay different rates. I know that the location of your business, whether you're inside incorporated or unincorporated Kitsap, matters on your tax base. I would also look at that additional tax that's tied to some sectors of retail that get taxed on items they have in their storefront. It all needs to be overhauled. It just needs fresh eyes. So a local business owner really opened my eyes to the fact that Kitsap is a hidden treasure to King County businesses. With the fast ferries, our low regulations, and reduced tax burdens compared to King County, big business is now looking to Kitsap County. We need to be planning for that now. So my solution, I would also propose additional CARES dollars be allocated to our local chambers of commerce, because you help connect small business and provide trainings on how to get through these unprecedented times. Chambers provide a bridge to small business support and success. So thank you for the work you do, Matt.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
these have been challenging times for us also. Especially since we couldn't for the longest time get out and see anybody. And we are, so that everybody knows, we are pushing any of the rent programs that are available out there. You're right, it was probably a little slow in coming, but it's here. So we really appreciate that and appreciate your thoughts on the subject. Last question then is, and this is kind of a really open-ended question. It gives you an opportunity to summarize where you're at and what you're doing. But what makes you think that you're the best person to represent South Kitsap?
All right, here we go. So I just want to thank you for the opportunity to share a little bit more about who I am and a few of my ideas. I would like to share with the folks, again, as a lifelong resident of Kitsap County, this is my home. I am passionate about creating a stronger South Kitsap for everyone. I celebrated 27 years anniversary with my husband, Thomas, and we've raised 2 adult sons, volunteering in our local Little Leagues, football programs, soccer programs, and I've also been a mentor to the at-risk programs through the South Kitsap school districts. We've raised our kids through these programs. We know our community. Our oldest son received the South Kitsap High School Baseball Maynard Lumber Award for Desire and Determination, and now he's gone on and got his 4-year degree at Wazoo, came back home, and now he's one of our essential workers, right? Super proud of that next generation. With over 20 years county experience, I have a solid record of understanding our community's needs, solving our local problems, and demonstrating leadership. I care about Kitsap County, and I'm proud of my accomplishments. I have a no-nonsense, pragmatic approach to solving problems, and I get it done. Enormous challenges face Kitsap County, Washington State, and our country. As your next county commissioner, I have the vision of a better tomorrow. I have the ability to build trusted relationships and collaborate with others. I know how to have respectful dialogue with those I don't always agree with, because at the end of the day, it's about us, our community, and our future. We want the same things. It's how we get there that may be a little different. I'm open to new ideas and stepping forward with solutions. I'm uniquely qualified to guide the Board of County Commissioners with my expertise in social services and the inside up perspective of local government. I know what departments work well and which ones can work better. As a hiring manager, I have developed workforces, managed budgets, written policies, and handled complaints. You've invested in me in the last 20 years through your tax dollars, and I'm ready for this job. Please visit my website at Smith for Kitsap. I'm proud I have more endorsements than any other candidate in this race. When you vote for Stacey Smith, you vote for our future. Stacey Smith for Kitsap County Commissioner.
Outstanding. Thank you, Stacey. Really appreciate the time that you've given us. Hopefully, when the viewers watch this, they'll come away with a fresh perspective, and they'll really get to know who Stacey is. And I would encourage anybody to reach out to you if they have any other questions. And I think most importantly, the Chamber of Commerce would encourage everybody to vote in this upcoming election. Everybody's vote counts, whether you think so or not. It really does matter. So Stacey, thank you.
Yes.
Good luck. We've only got about 10 days left or so, and you can get on with your life one way or the other.
That's
So
right.
hopefully you will continue on the campaign trail. So thank you for your time, and thank you for the thoughtful answers that you give to our questions.
Thank you for your time.
You bet. You have a great day.
You too. Bye.
Bye.